Okay, we are up. Hello,
Are
everyone.
we? Are we? Are we
Yeah,
live? Yay!
yeah, we are
Hello.
live.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
welcome to the 11th episode of the series.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you can see, we Tristan is back and Swimming is not
Hello.
around.
I thought he was. He said in the chat he was going to
Yeah,
join. Or what? What exactly did he say?
I
He
don't
said,
probably there to look at us.
"I might join."
Yeah, the mic is
Oh no,
very
he
powerful.
says. Nobody wants to see a guy who keeps blowing his nose.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
it's that
So
guy.
it's sick.
Yeah,
I
he's
am also
lost.
starting to feel.
He's lost. I hope nobody is disappointed.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
for Swimming's fans
yeah,
that are looking forward to hearing his words of wisdom,
yeah, too bad.
yeah, there's no Swimming tonight,
Yeah. So it'll be more
unfortunately.
more more for us. Too bad.
Yeah.
Right. What are we going to talk about today?
So we'll talk about shoutouts for the next week.
Yeah.
What's happening next week? The only thing I know is the Ruby Tuesday that's
Yep.
happening next week,
Yep.
December
And
4.
yep. That's the only one I
Uh,
know.
do you
Yeah.
know where? Wait, I actually don't know where. What's the venue?
Rapid River. So it's at
Oh,
Jimmy's
it's at Rapid River.
turf.
Mm,
So you'll be at Rapid River. They just finished their office to be ready to get to host events,
mm.
specifically meetups. So go check it out. Bunch of cool guys.
So aside from
Uh,
that, there's like, I mean, almost all meetup groups are like winding down for the year
yeah.
because
Yep.
people are like on vacation or like they're burning through through the leaves.
Yeah.
So you can't carry 20 leaves over to the next year,
Yeah.
apparently. So they're all taking the
Yep.
vacation off.
And also holiday season, so
Mm-hmm.
most will not be around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like we just concluded the last Golang meetup of the year.
Mm-hmm. That
Uh,
was last week, right?
this week actually, this
Oh,
Tuesday.
this week. This Tuesday, last Tuesday.
Yep. So what happened is the last Tuesday of December is actually Christmas. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, helps.
So you just did it this Tuesday.
Yeah. No, it's actually
Oh,
for the November, so there
it's
won't
still
be a
November.
December.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
thought it's
still
already December.
we are still 1 day left for November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only the 29th.
Yep.
And the day before, well, today, the blockchain event for
Yep.
Women Who
We're
Code is
good
happening.
now. Yep. At Hello Go.
Hello Go. Where is
Yep.
this Hello Go?
KL, Damansara area. They moved to a new office recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably need to check out the place. Hello Go actually started they actually part of the company that in a way like initiated the regular Golang meetup. So the reg
Oh, oh,
yep,
Hello Gold. I
yep,
thought
Hello Go. Yeah,
Hello Gold. Yeah, yeah, they
yeah.
did.
You've been one of them before as well. Yeah.
I remember we were doing Golang meetups from before as well, like 2015, I think. And when they were still starting out, they were having the Golang meetups at the house,
Yep.
which they were.
Yep.
Like, it was a nice house, so they were
Yeah.
doing the
And they
Golang
actually
meetups
moved
there.
to a bigger house
Mm.
recently. So
But they're not attending the Golang meetups anymore, or they moved somewhere else. They're
um,
not doing it.
one of the person, Dave Appleton, if anybody know about him, is he's nowadays more focused on blockchains technology.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
so
I see.
we got the patent. So now we are the people who try to run Golang meetups regularly.
Okay, cool. And yesterday was KLJS.
Yeah.
Uh, that was on a new venue or something. I thought it
It's
was.
in also a shout out like on Tuesday is a new venue as well. Normally we do it in Taxuri office.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Tuesday Golang meetup, we actually did it in
Mm-hmm.
Muda.Minds
In in
office
Mid
in
Valley.
Mid Valley. Yep.
Yeah, Mid Valley.
Yeah. So
I've
yesterday's
never seen their office.
yeah, you should Yeah, probably
Mhm.
we'll do it again next year. So you should come if
Nice.
you're interested. Yesterday's KLJS was held at Common Ground, Bukit Bintang.
Oh,
It's
okay.
uh, it's just it's just behind Royal Chulan, if you
Is
know
it
about it.
a co-working space?
Yeah, co-working space. Pretty nice. Pretty
Can you
nice
walk
actually.
from the train station to the co-working
Yep,
space?
but it's quite a distance as well.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay. Because I wanted to compile a list of cafes and co-working spaces that are friendly um,
yep,
to developers or like creative people. Like, for example, where the one where the name eludes me right now, but it was somewhere in PJ. So Nest Space, yeah, Nest Space, for example, is actually quite interesting. Then there's Common Ground. I'm trying to look for it,
yep.
to look up and
And
see
one
if
of the
it's okay.
very common place that we use, also co-working space we used recently is Collabs at Starling.
Labs. Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
I think
I
you've
think
been
we'll
there
be meeting up
several
there too.
times as well. Yep,
It's they're still new, right? Last time I was there,
yep.
they still had a lot of empty offices, but
Oh,
it's looks like they're still new.
if you remember one of the meetups, they mentioned that there'll be a what do you call it, a big client.
A big client. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I went there recently. Just not actually. I didn't went. I didn't go. I just passed by there recently, and it's actually Grab.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that actually matched the recent hiring of local devs in for Grabs in Malaysia.
I see. So it was a secret. That's why they said they
Yeah.
can say.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
It's not a secret. It's just like they don't want to say up too prematurely.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Nice. So yes, I wanted to like compile a list probably over the holidays. Like more stuff will be happening on the DevKami
Yeah.
website.
And
So
are you going? Aren't you going to do something more holiday for the holidays?
I don't know what I just went for my holidays, so there's really
Uh,
nothing much. I That's usually what I do. I go for the holidays before the holiday season,
what?
so that
So can holiday
I
while you're holiday.
I avoid like I avoid the influx of people
Oh,
going to
true.
the holiday
Yeah, true
destinations,
though.
right? And then when I stay here, like everyone's on holiday, so like there's less traffic jams or like less
Yeah,
people in the mall.
yeah.
It's just timing the holiday offset of the holiday, so it's okay. Yes, and yeah, I just wanted to see if I can add these things. So if anyone who's listening right now, they want to see, aside from the meetup list that we need to update more frequently.
Yep,
Now that I'm back, I'll be able to update that more.
yeah.
Um,
Me too. I should do it as well.
I Is there any other list that you'd want? So
I
some
actually
of
have a
the
list of they were or I'm not sure if they're still doing it. There
Mhm.
are some lists around that people try to. It's an on and off effort where people
Yeah.
try to compile a list of meetup friendly places
Hmm.
or companies that are willing to sponsor meetups.
Yeah. So I'll probably try and find those lists and visit them myself because I want to confirm as well. Like the thing about the DevKami lists, I don't know, maybe that will be a thing. Like the DevKami lists, if you're there, then one of the community members actually went there and confirmed and guaranteed this is actually
Yep.
uh, something that
DevKami
needs to be on
verified.
the list.
We should come up with your
Yeah.
badge then.
Verify. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that would be eventually maybe people will want to be on the list. But yeah, so the lists would be the meetup that I was thinking of. The technology stacks. Someone was suggesting on the Slack channel like stacks uh, com- of companies that are in the technology field.
Yeah,
Like,
that's actually one of the things that being raised up during one of
mhm,
the Tuesday Go Live It Up
mhm,
where because the often complaint is there's no. I mean, nobody uses Golang in Malaysia.
Really?
So yeah, but there's a lot of companies that are actually using it. So it might be good to like just share like what
Yeah,
are we doing exactly.
judging from the meetup attendance, like there are companies there that they're representing companies that
Yeah.
I didn't know that were using Golang, for
Yeah.
example. So that would be interesting. And another one would be so there's the meetup friendly places, the technology stacks. Oh, and then hiring the ones that we know. So I already had like a tagline of this, like the the job postings that we would apply to if we were not happy with our current work, something like that. Like if I was out of a job right now, for example, then these would be the job postings that I would personally apply
Yeah.
to. So
Oh,
still
that is actually a good idea. It's like
yeah,
sort of a dog fooding it.
yeah,
We're like in a more disgusting ways, like we regurgitate it for you.
yeah. But yeah, but so the idea is like still it's curated. It's still
Yeah.
something that
Yep.
we we personally would recommend,
Yep.
and I think that's the idea of the
Yeah.
DevKami
Yep.
lists that we have. Like it's something that we would personally recommend, or what
Yep.
someone from the community would recommend.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. All right,
So
so swimming is not here, so we talk about something that he said he's going to talk about,
yeah.
which is
Too bad,
uh,
swimming is your
yeah,
loss.
sorry. So we are going to be talking about books, movies, games, or
Yeah.
activities that we recommend.
Yeah.
Speaking of what we recommend, things that we recommend after hours, or like not necessarily programming related. So we've talked about the toys that we use, the tools that we use. We've talked about programming websites from previous episodes. I think it's time to talk about activities, games, books, movies that are not necessarily programming related, but we would recommend. So I'll start with something. One of the games that I feel that has shaped me as a person, as a programmer, is this small game called The Incredible Machine. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, let me Google it. I have no idea.
Okay. The so The Incredible Machine is actually quite interesting. It's a determinist. So you know the I
Oh,
forgot
it's a
the name.
classic.
It's a classic. It's a you know that drawing where you in order to break an egg you go through like 27 steps, like there's a fan and then it pushes a ball which then drops into a swing that then hits a blender which scares a cat, and then the cat
What?
jumps into something like that. So it's
Okay.
like I forgot the name of that term, but
Yeah, I'm
it's
looking at it right now.
so
Yeah.
it's one thing happens another into another, and it's very deterministic. So there's no random value there, right? And then there's a very very simple objective, like put the ball into the basket,
In a
or
way, it's like programming games before it is
it's
a
yeah. I didn't
programming.
realize it was a programming game. I just like playing around with it, uh, like getting this machine set up so that it it throws the ball into the hoop, for example. And in order to get that, you have to start with a falling ball, for example, which then scares hits a cat, for example, which then the cat starts walking, and then uh, hits hits let's say a switch that opens a can of that opens a trap door which makes the cheese fall down, and then the mouse will go through, and then the mouse is heavier so it actually pushes down a particular lever. And so it's like it's one machine after another that's firing, and it was so fun. But I felt that that's how I first realized the the cause and effect of programming. Like I can actually isolate a particular set of machines, like with lasers or whatever, and then that is actually something like a function that does the same thing with one input and one output, right? So it maps one set of inputs to one set of outputs. It's just very graphical and very how do you say it? Very tangible in a sense, because you can move things around and you can actually control how it works. So the Incredible Machine was a game, and I even thought that maybe during one of our interviews at the company, like I might ask them to play the Incredible Machine, like the first 10 levels, let's say, and then I just wanted to see how they would work with the curiosity and the sense of control and the sense of organization and arrangement or problem solving that the game would offer. So that's one of the games that I would recommend, not necessarily programming, but if you can get it running on your current system, then
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah, I need to try it out. Looks
I
very
don't know
interesting.
how I don't know if they still have like working
I think I need an
programs.
emulator. Like it's a DOS era.
It is a DOS era game. Yeah. Well, there's a YouTube, how do you call it?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's loud. Is a YouTube video about that actually shows how it works. I'll probably like link it on the show notes later.
Okay. So. Let's
Okay,
have a
so
look.
what is this machine supposed to do? Are you watching the YouTube?
No, I'm reading
No?
about it. I'm actually looking through the screenshots.
Okay. Yeah, I'll. How do I share my screen? Maybe I should share my screen so that
On
there's no dead
the
air.
you just need to hover your mouse at the right or the left hand side of the this hangout,
Let me let me
and there's
create a new
actually a
window.
green a screen light icon with a green background. That is the screen share function.
Okay. Let me create a new desktop. Oh, this one, the green icon.
Yep.
Okay. Share.
No
All right. Let
Inception.
me start from the beginning.
Nice.
Okay, I don't know what's this is supposed to do. Yeah, so now there's a ball that cuts this, that switches
It
this
looks
on.
like those Home Alone kind of machinery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Ah, no, okay. So I think this is the level where you are asked to make toast. So this is the target, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to make toast, and this is a solar how do you call this? A solar plant that provides electricity to the toast.
Yeah, kids. This is how we make toast last time.
Yeah. And this is like a fire, right? Which boils the kettle, and so the kettle will produce steam, which then switches like it because it's kinetic, so it switches the light, the flashlight, which just then powers the solar generator. So you'll see from the very beginning, right? This is like this. So this is you can see the mouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the toast is still not on, and the very first thing that this does is I think it's the mouse. So this is actually where it starts. The mouse sees the cheese, which then clicks the flint, and the rocket goes up. So this is actually where everything starts. So you
Oh.
start it, and this one moves. There you go, and then it goes up. Boop. This boils, and then this one drops, goes up, goes here,
Oh,
explodes there.
you have to time it as well.
Sorry.
Basically, you need to time the steps as well.
Yeah. So this is like one of the I'm in the matrix. How do I stop the screen share? Okay. So that's basically the fun stuff on the Incredible Machine, where you have to arrange all of these things just so that you can make something. You should
Yep.
try it. You should play it.
Yeah.
If swimming is really sucked into this game, I forgot the game that he was talking about.
Yeah, my name will have a special episode about him.
Assembly game, but that's still programming. This
Oh,
is not programming related, but it's fun.
there's Shenzhen IO,
Sorry, what?
Shenzhen IO, where
Sentient IO.
or Exapunks, where you program
Oh,
machine
Exapunks.
to to do stuff. One similar games that I really like and I spend a lot of time on it is which is similar but different. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Factorio. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually a factory simulation game.
Oh yeah, I think we
Yeah,
played it a lot during one of the Golang meetups, right?
yeah, like apparently most of us in Golang liked
Mm.
Factorio.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember the name. It's called a Rube Goldberg device.
Yeah.
If you've heard of it, I'll put it in the
Uh,
show notes as well. Rube Goldberg,
yeah.
RUBEGOLDBERG. So I will put it on the
It's like
DevKami Slack group
uh,
as well.
I actually get it as a comment as well
Mhm.
from Nicholas.
Hmm. Has anyone played The Incredible Machine aside from
Yeah,
me? Because I really, really have really good memories
yeah.
about this game. Like I
Swimming,
stayed up lots of nights just to just to
Swimming
play
say he
this.
might have it.
Hmm.
You can look up at GOG. Uh,
Ah,
uh,
okay.
so because we know that Swimming owns all the games under the sun. So yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
I didn't think. Yeah, I never think about it. Right. Yeah, you to look for any old games, just go to GOG. Hopefully, it's there.
So yeah, so that's a game that I would recommend, not necessarily about programming. How about you?
Oh,
Do you
there's
play
one.
movies, books?
Oh, it's actually on the GOG for
Ah,
$9. It's actually $10.
okay. Nine ninety
Yeah,
nine.
yeah.
So how about you?
For me, I spend for games. I'm always into real time strategy and sandbox games. Like spend a lot of times playing. When I was younger, Warcraft, Starcraft. Um, then a lot of sandbox C games like those Dungeon Keeper.
Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah,
That's an old game.
yeah.
I haven't put
This
that
kind of
game.
similar games. I still play these kind of similar games recently. The most recent game that I play in this category is, if you want to count in, is Factorial,
Hmm.
Frostpunk, and Remo.
Frostpunk is the one with the circular city, right?
Yep, where
Like
it's
if you're into the
post-apocalyptic
center
world.
and then you have to survive blizzards and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you follow this YouTuber called Christopher Odd.
Nope.
So he played the game. He played a lot of XCOM. So I watch it. I don't have time to play games myself, so I just watch other people play the game. Because if I play the game myself, it's never going to end. But
Yeah.
because someone else plays the game, then if the person ends the game after an hour, then I have no choice
Yeah.
but to stop watching because there's nothing else to watch.
Yep. It's in a way, the way I like to put these games is it's a easy time travel to the future.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you probably start the game in the morning, probably you end like probably one day later, something. So you get to spend your time really fast. Yep. So I actually like the strategic games like XCOM as well, but strategic games like this, like similar to what you say, is a time sink. So nowadays I just prefer to watch.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, speaking of time sync, so this is a different one for me. Um, I also read a lot of manga, translated, and so what I will recommend is this reader. I use an Android. I don't know about iOS. I don't really use iOS that much. It's called Tachiyomi. A very very. It's an
Xiaomi.
open source. Yeah, I put it on the
I found it on
Slack
GitHub.
chat as well. Yeah, it's on GitHub. It's an open source um, manga downloader and reader. So basically, you just subscribe to manga sites, and it's going to just download it and notify you, hey, there's a new Boruto manga chapter available, or there's a new what am I reading right now? Promised Neverland manga up there, uploaded, or Attack on Titan, for example. So it's good because um, it just works. It's not like the other manga readers where they're full of ads. This one doesn't have a lot of ads. It's just
Yeah.
the
And if you don't trust it or you want to change it, it's actually open source.
yeah.
So
So
yep,
the only it's not on the App Store though. So because they, they probably don't want to pay for the uploading thing in
yep,
Google, or maybe it somehow um, somehow is against one of the licenses or something, because once it's on the App Store, then you cannot really
yeah. But
change the.
it's actually on F-Droid, so
Yeah, it's on F-Droid, so you have to install F-Droid and then you use F-Droid to install Chachiomi. But if you're on Android anyway, then you should explore the the ecosystem outside of the Google Play Store. There's a lot of
yep,
stuff.
it's
There's
actually
also more
pretty interesting.
dangerous.
Yeah,
Also more dangerous because there's no vetting involved, but maybe just a little. But
yep,
don't just install anything yet, right? But there are a lot of applications, like indie applications, that are not on the Play Store, maybe because they're like licenses or they're just not approved for Play Store use, but will be available on these ecosystems like F-Droid or the Amazon
I
App
would
Store, for
I
example.
would really suggest people to try it out F-Droid because first, most publishers on F-Droids are free and open source projects. So even if people are feeling doubtful about the certain packages, they can just if you really want to, you can go to the repo to check out the source code yourself.
And then you compile it yourself if
Yeah,
you
if you
want to
yeah,
sideload the APK.
yep,
Yeah, so it's really good. I really like this reader, and yeah, this is the ecosystem of like the F Droid. Maybe we should put that on the show notes as well. F Droid.
yep. I'm actually putting this on the chat as we go
Okay.
along. Yep. Yep. Oh, okay.
So do you have any
So
books or anything
uh,
that you want to
I
recommend?
actually I'm a pretty boring person. I don't read manga.
Mhm.
And I
Anime? No
already
anime?
and I used to read solely consume textbooks until
Mhm.
like the Hari Raya break. There's a 1 week break for me, and then I got into fantasy novel. So right now I'm actually
Which
fantasy.
series? Which fantasy series are you?
Right now I'm following Stormlight Archive by Brandon
Mhm.
Sanderson.
I haven't
So
read it.
yeah,
Sorry.
yes. So yeah,
What's the
it's actually
setting?
setting is
What's
actually a high fantasy. The world is having a yeah, as usual, the certain crisis.
Wait, so
Uh,
this is a future sci-fi or is it a
Not sci-fi, it's a
fantasy with
fantasy.
dragons?
Uh, Not dragons, but reimagined world. So it's considered a high fantasy as well because all the
Mm-hmm.
settings are unique. Even the even the plants
Mm-hmm.
are different from our world because they have this very erratic weathers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's an unfinished series. Unfortunately, haven't
Oh,
finished yet.
because
Still
the
ongoing.
author never. Oh, it's like never. It's like.
Not finished yet. It's but he's a very productive author, and he actually ran writing podcast as well. It's called I forgot what's his name. I'll probably share it afterwards.
So, which do you think will finish first, the series or Song of Ice and Fire?
Uh, I have no idea because I'm actually also following, if you know, King Killer series by Patrick
Hmm.
Rufus.
No,
So
sorry, I
it's
haven't.
actually on par with Song and Ice and Fire. The author is actually
Okay.
been stalling the release of the next one. So I think it's 15 years since the last book.
Wow. Okay.
I don't remember. So let's see when. But Brandon Sanderson is actually pretty productive author. He actually do a lot of stuff. He actually lecture as well,
Mm-hmm.
and he churn out like pretty much 1 or 2 books a year. So this year alone, he releases 3 books. But all these books he has been working on for many years now, of course. But he's been doing a lot of stuff at the same time. I hope he doesn't burn out.
Is he the type of author like who was this horror novel author? Is it Stephen
Stephen
King?
King, yeah. If you want to
Yeah,
say,
like
it's similar to that, yeah.
like just
And
putting some books.
yeah, but his work similarly very good quality as well.
Hmm. Well, the ones that I really don't like it when the author like stalls for 15 years, for example, right? That's why I only pick up a series by an author if the author has already completed the series or is already dead, and then it's like there's nothing else that's coming, right? So for example, the robot series by Isaac Asimov is actually a good read from the beginning. I forgot. I forgot where it started, but I have all the books in the robot. I think it's 6 books, or was it 3? I forgot. So that's a robot series, and also the Foundation series.
Oh, not
That one
a
is
correction. I just checked
six
it
books.
just now.
Yeah.
For the King Killer, the first book was released at 2007. The second
Mhm.
was 2011. So it's 7 to 8 years.
Yes, I
Yeah.
see.
So
Okay. Yeah. So the Foundation series is like 6 books, so 2 trilogies plus a prequel and
Foundation
another
series.
prequel. So that's the
Okay.
Foundation series. That's really really good. Um, it's a sci-fi, so futuristic.
By Asimov actually
By
did.
Asimov, yeah. Uh, this is actually quite interesting. So the 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 person who was like, let's say the protagonist, uh, is a mathematician. His name is Harry Seldon, and he did this theory that says you cannot predict the actions of a single person, but you can statistically model a population, right? The actions of a population. And so, with that mathematics and statistics, he actually predicted the next 1,000 years of a civilization. And then basically the foundation books were um, about having these crisis. So they call it a crisis because the population will do their thing, and then there will be a turning point where a decision will be made. And because of the statistics, that he can predict what the decision will be made, and then it continues on. And of course, there will be like this special person that can read minds and control emotions. Sorry, cannot read minds but can control emotions of other people, and then which throws a wrench into the whole plan by Harry Seldon. And then how the foundation, which is the titular foundation of the books, um, managed to change the equation so that it will take into account this particular anomaly. So it's a really, really interesting book, not necessarily about science, although it has a bit of science involved, which makes for good science fiction books, right? It has a little bit of the science to make it believable, but also extrapolates from this science to make it um, to make it feel that this can't happen, but it still seems believable. So the Foundation series is actually quite good.
I have to bookmark this.
Sorry?
So I have to
Oh, you
bookmark
wanted to
this.
read? Yeah, you
Yeah,
should
I
read
actually
it.
use Goodreads just in case if anybody didn't know about this. Goodreads is actually a very good service. It's like a Facebook for book readers.
Mhm.
So I use that to bookmark any books and stuff that I want to read, or I'm actually reading.
I don't use Goodreads. Is it like I don't know if I have the book, because I have this like I have books on my Kindle, and if it's on the Kindle I just read it. Like
It's more like for me. It's like for the because I actually get use it to track the list of books I need to get, something like that, and what's my
okay,
because
I
even
see.
for certain series that I follows for a certain time when like let's say I forgot about it, and when they have a new release, then I get notification about it. Something like that. It's for something that I follow last time, but since there's not much of an update, I forgot about it. Or we'll keep at least as a system to check, because I have a very bad habit of not liking to use apps to track my stuff. So most of my stuff are web based.
I see.
I use Chrome a lot on my Android. So
Mhm.
and I use Goodreads as a way to track whatever that I want to buy,
Mhm.
something like that.
I see. So the going back to the the foundation, right? I just remember that the name of the technique, that's a statistical technique that was developed in the books, right? It's called psychohistory, and I think there was some news some time ago where a group of mathematicians and scientists actually wanted to do psychohistory as a real thing, like trying to predict real Earth populations, how they will react, uh, like for example, like elections or particular landmark decisions. How will big populations react? And this is another one of those where reality, or like the present time, is catching up to how science
Yeah,
fiction described it. So it's like science fiction inspiring um, the current scientists, which I just saw as well on one article on, I think it was Slashdot or Reddit or something. Like apparently Nike, IBM, some of the big um, corporations, they're hiring science fiction authors, or they're paying science fiction authors to write about the future with, let's say, Nike, for example. Like they will do a world building novel,
yeah,
or like an internal story about how Nike, for example, will be used in 30 years, 50 years in the future. And it's like somehow and so they're being paid, and it's somehow to inspire the company, like, okay, this is a future
yeah.
that was envisioned, how do we make it happen?
Now where is my hoverboard?
No, it's already way past 2016, right? Was it
Yeah.
2016?
I don't remember, it's 15, I think 15 or 16.
Was it 15?
Yeah.
See, let me try to find that. Okay, Nike and Boeing are
Oh, Nike
paying
and Boeing.
sci-fi
That's really
writers.
weird. Are they
Let me
doing it
see.
together or they're doing it separately?
I think they're doing separately. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so Nike and Boeing are paying sci-fi writers to predict their future, and they're saying that this is like, so. Dick, for example, is the writer of what's the name of this? The one with androids, and do androids dream of
You want electric
electric
sheep?
sheep?
Yep.
Runner something, I forgot.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. So the Blade Runner. So he's a really prolific sci-fi author, and apparently he predicted a lot of things that um, that that are being made right now, or we're actually using right now in his world building and storyboarding, right? And so Nike, Boeing, they're actually paying these sci-fi authors to build worlds for them so that they get inspired. So this is actually interesting. Speaking of science fiction, how do I stop sharing?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll put this in the show notes as well.
So let's check. What else do you do besides books and games, or what other?
Um, I do dancing
Oh,
sometimes. And this is actually quite interesting because whenever I dance, I actually think of it as programming. That because there are certain steps, especially like not dancing in clubs or hip hop dancing or whatever.
what sort of dancing are you doing?
So not the hip hop or club dancing or whatever. That doesn't make sense for
Yeah.
me. What makes sense for me would be partner dancing.
Okay.
Right? Not choreography dancing. That's also that doesn't make sense much. But partner dancing is because I think of it as programming because you have an input and you have an output as well, right? When I let's say I raise my hand, usually the lady will or my partner will turn
Mm.
to the left or to the right,
Yeah.
correct?
And also, there's
So
certain steps that you have to repeat. Right.
correct, yeah. So there's steps. So it's like I think of it actually as functions that you can chain together, and then there will be like certain chains of functions that make a particular routine look nice, and there are functions that don't fit well with another uh, set of steps. So that's why I really feel that when I'm dancing partner dancing, I feel that I'm assembling these things, and it's actually interesting because for me, I'm assembling it in real time based on feedback from my partner, right? If you have to watch the facial expressions, you have to hear the music as well. And based on immediate, not just that, but also there are other dancers on the floor. And so space might be constrained, space might be uh, available. So depending on all of these factors, you have to like think on your feet. You have to immediately think of a sequence that will make use of all the available environmental variables, like the space, the number of dancers on the floor, the music, your partner's expressions, your partner's energy level. Maybe they're not as into it, or maybe they are into it, and and they'd like to play along with whatever that you're doing. So I like it's like, how would you say it? It's like programming. It's like live programming. Like you're dealing with an audience, and then you're programming live, and then based on their feedback or whatever, what the error message on the screen. So it's that, to me, is what I feel when I'm doing partner dancing. That's why I really like it.
What? How often do you do it? Like, do you have
Probably
every
not
week?
so much recently. Probably once or twice a month now. A few years ago, that would be like once a week.
Is there
It's
something like a dance club or?
So
Uh,
in Bangsar, so I live in Bangsar, and I also work near the Bangsar LRT station. There's actually just, I think, 10-20 meters away from the station is a dance academy called Dance Blaze Academy. So it's a dance school, and they teach different things. There's salsa, there's bachata, there's kizomba, there's tango, there's all of the other uh, like one person dance as well. Like there's I forgot the name. I'm not really interested in the single person dances, not the partner dancing, so I don't really remember their names. Oh, there's the Bollywood. There's Bollywood. There's the ones where you pop a lot. Reggaeton, I think. I forgot. I
no,
keep
no,
forgetting
I
the
have
names of these
totally no
dances.
idea about dance.
Yeah, so it's a very good school. They're very the principal is a very good friend of mine. So if you are ever in the Bangsar area, or even if you're not from the Bangsar area, we have a lot of people there. There are a lot of students that come even from PJ, from I don't know where else, Subang. They actually go to Bangsar just so that they can attend the classes because the classes are quite good. The teachers are very good. So it's convenient for me though because I just walk there from after work. A lot of my colleagues are also going there, so it will be interesting. They started off with just a single floor. Now they have like 3 floors, 3 studios because they've been growing and because it's been really really good. Do you have something from the chat? I wonder if
Uh,
Swimming dances. It's too bad that he's not here.
there's
And I can
actually
check on him.
something called dance notation. Do you know about this?
Transportation.
Yeah.
I know in ballet there are specific terms, and so it's easy to transfer choreography. Also in jazz dancing, there are also notations so that because notation is good for replicating one expression of an art form to another. For example, music. you have notation, right? Musical
Yeah.
notation, so that an artist, whenever they are doing something, they someone else can replicate it. So, and like some sort of shorthand. Of course, the expression of the art itself is different, but the main general ideas are there. Same with dancing. That's how they did it. Like if say, oh, it's a right hand turn, for example, on your right foot, there will be particular notes there, or like it's a jeté, like a jeté is you you leap from one foot to another like a bullet. Jeté is like shoot in French, right? So you say jeté, so there'll be a particular note there, so that other people can uh, do it over, not necessarily exactly the same, but it can be transferred.
Yeah.
So that's generally the idea between
Yeah. Especially useful before
imitations.
the video era.
Exactly, yeah. Before video, before YouTube, that's how you would like remember that these are the steps. Or yeah, it's actually interesting that how these, let's say, traditions have been passed down. Let's say, for example, the dance of the sugar plum fairy choreography in ballet. Like, how do you think that was passed down from one generation of ballet dancers to another, right? Then because there was a dance theater or studio, and then someone was apprenticing or something, and trying to learn it, and then eventually other countries would send their delegates to learn it, and then they will copy it. But it's very much a physical
Yeah.
means of transfer,
It's a very
because
apprenticeship kind of a
yeah,
way.
even before that, before writing, before all of these travel, like you'll have the oral tradition where around the campfire you would be singing a particular um, story, an epic, let's say, and then because you can't write it down, you don't have the means to write it. The oral tradition would mean that you have to memorize the song, and then you have to sing it over and over until your children will learn it, and your children will sing it to the next generation, and those things. And of course, now it's a lot easier to transfer knowledge because you have YouTube, you have
Yeah.
um, videos and smartphones, and
Yeah.
it's just easy to capture this.
Fun,
Um,
actually, a fun fact. I actually learned how to swim from YouTube.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like just following the
Like,
steps.
hmm. That which is interesting as well, because I was on vacation and I see some people doing the movement, like doing this, but they're not moving across the water. So I'm not sure how how effective learning it would be without actually having someone to teach it.
I have no idea.
Like I guess.
The lucky part for me is I know somebody who will train.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned, actually I learned the strokes, and they are the ones that correct me.
Ah.
But it's not like it's pretty. It's actually a pretty painstaking process as well. To
Mm-hmm.
took me 2 months to totally learn how to do a breaststroke.
Mm-hmm.
So, but uh, I think a lot of the time, because we have a very short attention span,
Mm-hmm.
um, people try to look for the express one. So those most likely wouldn't work as well. Where you can just float and stuff, but you won't be able to swim properly. So,
I see. I guess this is something similar to learning programming, and
yeah,
not just learning programming, but also learning um, skills, like more
yeah,
advanced skills from your senior,
yeah,
let's say, like like you were saying, apprenticeship, right? They're
yeah,
apprenticing to someone.
yeah,
I there it, there are some skills that you can get up to a certain level on your own, like YouTube, or trying it yourself, figuring out the mistakes, or the the potholes in a particular journey. But there comes a point where having a mentor, a coach, or
yeah,
someone who can you can apprentice to is required for you to progress to the next level.
yeah.
Someone,
And
like in your case, someone to actually correct you,
yep,
because you're not doing it, like you think you're doing it properly, but someone else who's done it way more longer than you have and or is a lot more experienced can then see, okay, I see that you're not doing it properly.
Um, I think because we everybody has their own interpretation of things, how things are. Even like especially like you say, like even when picking up technical knowledges, we have
Mhm.
our own biases when we learn stuff. So sometimes it's always good, regardless like whether your skill level is you're pretty good at it and stuff. I mean, speaking from personal experience, is that I'm always be able to find something new in beginner's talk. So that's why I always encourage like even the most beginner programmers to speak up and share whatever they learned, because once for me, once I get used to it, I get this. I think we mentioned before the blindness. So
Yeah.
and we'll take it like for granted. Oh, that's how things work. But sometimes we need certain reminder of a new, fresher point of view.
Mm. That's a really good segue to having more people attending the meetups
Yep.
because again, there is only so much that you can learn by yourself, only
Yep.
by yourself, and it's the sharing with other people and learning from their mistakes, not
Yep.
just from your mistakes, but learning from other people's mistakes. I think this is what sets us apart from many animals because animals learn from their mistakes, right?
Yep.
Um, they they know that when you cross a river, it's cold, so
Yeah.
they avoid the
I think the
river or something like
difference
that.
of why do they take them so seriously is they'll die if they don't take
Yeah,
if they
exactly.
don't
It's
take
a
the.
survival thing. So
Yep.
they, but it's still only by themselves. Like
Yep.
another same species of animal that hasn't been in that particular situation. There's no way for them to communicate to transfer all their knowledge. Probably the gorillas and the orangutans are closest here because they can actually teach. Like, hey, I remember this. What there was this documentary about orangutans where um, the orangutans that were raised in not in the wild but inside the reserve with the rescuers or like with the conservationists. The conservationists had to teach the children orangutans to fear sticks and moving sticks or moving rope
Yep.
because they had to teach them to be afraid of snakes.
Yeah, that's
And
what I read from some of the. There are similar efforts in, like, I think Australia or New Zealand, where there are some native animals that are not afraid of like new predators like cats.
mm-hmm,
So in a way it's a tough love. They have to let some of them watch some of their own kind being killed.
mm,
So when they are released, they will spread the fear, or
yeah,
at least the knowledge of self preservation outside.
yeah. So this is happening a bit on the animal kingdom, but what sets us humans apart is that we can actually reach out and ask someone, hey, can I learn from your mistakes?
Yep.
Right? Not just from me. That it's not about watching people crash and burn. Like other people will actually, you can will actually share it once you just ask them. It's not just like, okay, I will teach you to be afraid of snakes because I saw someone die of a snake. It's more like, hey, can you teach me about things that I might die from in this forest?
Yep.
And meetups are the perfect places for actually asking for experiences.
Yep.
From I think I'm not sure which meetup did we try this on, but um, having smaller group discussions was actually more um, how do you say it, like better in terms of activity of interaction than just having someone present stuff. It's like
Yep.
I think what we did was someone presented stuff and then we formed groups of five and then we just talked about what the presenter was talking about. And that's because we just share a lot more about like, okay, how did you solve this problem? This is how I solved my problem. And the meetup was a lot more interactive that way. And I think this is a good good shout out as well that if people are not attending meetups just because it's being recorded, uh, then you're losing the point of the meetup itself.
Don't I think don't worry of being wrong. Actually,
Hmm.
everybody can be wrong. So whatever that's even if I mean if you're wrong, once people corrected your mistake, you'll be right forever. So
Yeah, you'll remember it, right?
yeah,
You'll
you remember
remember
it,
it.
and yeah, everybody will learn about it as well. So there's nothing to be afraid of.
Mm, yeah.
I think also because we shared a lot of success story that we often overlook some of this stuff that we face every day, especially like failures or errors and
So there's
mistakes.
actually this is a cognitive bias called the survivor's bias, I think, because the people. So I think I forgot which what story was this. I think this was the World War II pilots who came back and survived the like. So they fly off. They try to bomb the locations. Of course, the ones on the ground, the enemies, they'll try to shoot the planes, and then so they came back, and then when they wanted to repair the the planes, they actually repaired the ones that the holes. So they wanted to reinforce the areas of the plane where there were bullet holes, and then they would go again and bomb the thing, and that was actually the survivor's bias because those holes were there because they were not vital to the plane. That's why they survived. And whereas the ones that should be the places where the plane should be reinforced in are actually the ones that are not shot, because if you got
Yeah,
shot
true.
there, you're dead, right? The
Yeah,
plane doesn't actually come back. And there's actually a lot of talk here about like successful entrepreneurs. They keep talking about things that they have been doing that they thought they were success, but this is actually a very selective population because they are the ones who were succeeding. They are not the ones who were failing, and so they might say what they were doing as successful, but they're not. It's like patching the holes uh, that that
it
for
doesn't
the plane
matter
to come
which doesn't
back. Like,
matter anyway.
yeah, I mean it's fine. Okay, we can patch it, but it's not the ones that
Yeah,
made people fail and to
yeah.
actually um, the first the first step towards success is not to fail along the way, right? And then you can is to survive first, and then
Yeah.
you can start multiplying whatever it is. If you survive the first stage, then it's fine. You can go continue on to be successful, and that is the thing that we're sharing about your experiences. uh, really helps. Do we have anything more on the chat?
Nope.
Like is
Yeah.
swimming giving words
Same
of
is,
wisdom?
yeah. Saying it try to, yeah, has a lot of comments and stuff.
You
Yeah. So we
want
probably
to
have
read
to,
them, or
yeah, just
is it private or something? No.
no, just mention a few like the GOG might have a game. He probably got it too because yeah, swimming get all the games under the sun.
Swimming is having FOMO right now,
Yeah,
and that's why he has a lot of comments over there.
yeah. Contest. I think also like one of the things being raised by like why some of the apps are not allowed on Play Store is probably the content, the
Mm-hmm.
licensing of the content, which makes sense. So Nicholas been sharing like the Rube Goldberg machine before you mentioned it as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So and he played Alley Cat,
Alley Cats. I haven't heard
which is
of
a
Alley
very old
Cats.
game. Which
Is it a visual novel, Alley Cats?
I have no idea. I grew up actually pretty boringly, so
Mm.
I didn't get to play all this fun stuff.
Well, I think you had a social life when you were growing up. I didn't have a lot of neighbors to play with. That's why I
No,
was like,
actually, I don't have social life. I just spend a lot of the time in the library.
oh, okay. So there's still a lot of people around there, right? So
Yeah,
okay.
not that I know of. It's just that the library is really good for a small town, but I don't think anybody is using it. So I actually
Mm.
one of the things I really like about the place is the peace and quiet I can get.
Nice.
Yeah. So Alicat, remember seeing it mentioned somewhere else as well. So yeah. So anything else you want to share? Because before we wrap
I
this
think
up,
that's good. That's DevKami after hours.
yeah, we
Oh,
will probably
yeah, of course. We do this podcast after hours.
yeah,
It's a good way to talk about things that we wouldn't normally talk about
yeah,
normal normal conversation. So it's good that everyone here who's listening is yeah, catching up on the things that we do for fun.
yeah. So I think
How
should
does
we?
swimming end this? Actually, I don't notice how he ends the
I don't know. We
podcast.
just speak until we think that's we had enough of swimming, so we should stop this.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
I don't know. Because
Yeah,
he's the one who usually starts and ends
yeah,
these things. So
yeah,
I'm always lost when he's not around.
yeah,
Well, yeah. Hopefully, swimming is joining us next week.
yeah.
Maybe Wendy will be joining us next week as well. I
I
don't
think
know.
Wendy is pretty busy. She said that she is pretty occupied. I think also there's a lot of clash with the events that she is
Mm.
organizing as well.
Yeah. So if anyone as well who's listening wants
Yeah,
to have fun along with us and
yeah.
have like shoot, what's the colloquial term there? Like shoot in the air or something.
I don't know. Just join
So
us. Something like
oh yeah, and then I don't know.
that.
Like do the idea is to like do something that's not really a waste of time, but it's fun. Like shoot
Yeah,
peace into the air. I think is the colloquial term. So if you want to join us, like shoot peace in the air, or like just talk about everything and anything, then yeah, just join us on Slack.
yeah.
Uh, it's
No, it's
slack.engineers.my.
go to engineers.my.
Uh-huh.
There will be an invitation link to the Slack
Ah,
because Slack you need invitation. So get in there and just do a shout out. We'll put you on the show.
yeah, sure. Yeah, just tell us, and then we'll get to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And if you have any suggestions on what we should talk about, then just ping us on Slack as well, and we'll see.
Uh, Nicholas mentioned there's a Google event this weekend, but I have no idea what it is about.
Ah,
Google GDG related. Don't know what
so
it is.
here's my thing about GDG is that they have really good loot boxes, but the events themselves they're more geared towards C levels that need to be convinced about a particular technology
Oh,
rather
DevFest.
than.
On
Okay,
the
so it's not it's not the like the Amazon ones then.
yeah,
Okay,
DevFest.
that might be interesting. But yeah,
Yeah,
the Google ones, if you can actually get in, they have like really nice loot boxes. They have T-shirts,
yeah,
they have like USB whatever. So it's good. I have stopped attending these though, so
yeah.
I
For
try
many
to make
years.
use of my time better.
I still wear the T-shirts. I actually wore one today.
Okay, the GDG Dev Fest ones.
Yeah, DevFest. Yeah, they were pretty good. I mean, in
Yeah,
terms of quality.
good quality shirts, right?
Yeah,
Not just your pajama.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we should wrap this up.
Yes, let's wrap
Yeah.
it up. See you
Okay.
next week.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Right. Stopping.